Good evening and a warm welcome to the SES webinar on the third episode of Green and Sustainable Designs for Industrial Structures. May I now introduce you to the moderator and speakers for today. Our moderator is Mr. Bal Kulkarni, Chairman, Delcons Consultants India Private Limited. A BE Civil and a MTech Structures, Bal Kulkarni has over 30 years of experience. Currently, he is a Chairman of Delcons Consultants. He is a member of Institution of Engineers, Fellow of Institution of Valuers, American Concrete Institute member, and Indian Society of Structural Engineers. He is also an author of many technical papers. Now our speakers, Mr. Arf Siddiqui, founder and CEO, Coin Consulting. Mr. Arif has overall 33 years of in-depth hands-on experience in sales, warehouse operations and management, and business management. He is the founder of Coin Consulting, a leading infra warehouse layout design company, which includes man, material, and machine process flow and automation design. He's also been a faculty member at SP Jain Institute of Management Singapore and Dubai campus and a visiting faculty at Institute of Supply Chain Management. He's also a member of Planning Commission, Logistics Sector Council of SCM Professionals, National Disaster Management Authority of India, and many more. Up next is Mr. Mahendra Pingle, Deputy General Manager, Market Development, Tata BlueScope Steel. Mr. Mahendra has over 25 years of experience with the steel construction industry. He has worked in coil coating operations, sales and marketing functions with Tata BlueScope Steel for over 18 years. His main contribution has been in introducing innovative technologies for enhanced steel product development, product assistance on selection of cladding material through specifiers, community-based on-site location, and building shapes. However, his focus all throughout his professional journey has been advocating positively the benefits of steel within the construction industry. Up next is Mr. Surinder Mattu, Associate Director, Projects, IPS Metalia Private Limited. Mr. Surinder is a BE Civil, has professional experience of 26 years in detailed engineering, planning, execution, supervision project, and contract management of various industrial commercial projects. As an associate director, he is responsible for overall project management, project cost control, and much more. He has handled many projects to name a few, are Rhodia Chemicals Limited, L&T Boiler Limited, Hazira, Procter & Gamble, Badi, Durable Technologies Private Limited, etc. Requesting all the attendees to please participate in the poll and write the name of the panel whom you would like to address the question to. Do glance through our latest interactive issue of SSMP magazine. The issue will take you through an eye-opening interview with a warehousing expert, Mr. Arf Siddiqui, who brings you his wide experience in the industry. Moving on is the cover story that showcases result of pre-engineered technology and is also a clear example of green and sustainable designs. Not to miss is the straight talk, which brings in candid opinions of the warehousing players. With all these, the project case studies and features are sure to keep you glued to the issue. So do have a look to the latest interactive issue. The link will be available in the chat box. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Kulkarni.
Yes, thank you, Andrea. And very warm welcome to all participants. Today we are here for the third episode of the Green and Sustainable Designs for Industrial Structures. As all those who have attended the previous two sessions must have realized that these have really become very knowledgeable sessions, and we are discussing a lot of issues which our eminent panelists are helping us with. Even today, we have a really elite panel with us, Mr. Arf Siddiqui, Mr. Surinder Mattu, and Mr. Mahendra Pingle. We'll be discussing two projects and the green and sustainable aspects in those two projects. And also, we'll be discussing with Mr. Pingle some material specifications, some requirements And generally what we need to put in our tenders, what uh, what is the use of specifying a particular type of material, and how it helps in making it more sustainable, making it more green, etc. You must have enjoyed the previous two episodes already, and I'm sure this is also going to be a very enriching experience for all of us. I would request all of you to keep posting your question and answers as everybody, we are going through our presentation. So we will be able to filter out the right questions and help in answering them at the end of the session. I would request Mr. Arif Siddiqui to start his presentation first. Mr. Arif, please.
Yeah, thank you. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kulkarni, and thank you, MX Business Media, for putting up this episode number 3 on green and sustainable designs for industrial structure. I think this is an extremely important aspect, and the issue of sustainability has always been a major point of concern with most of the developers and the buildings that people create, especially when it comes to warehousing, which is currently an extremely fast-moving sector in the overall real estate industry, doing very well. A lot of new warehouses are coming up, and pre-engineered buildings have somehow become the order of the day and the building method of choice, by most of these developers. However, what is important to understand is that how do we continue to make these buildings and the development that we design sustainable, eco-friendly, and remain within the circumference of protecting the Mother Earth and the planet, which becomes a very important aspect as we look at the intricate aspects of design. My main objective of this presentation today is to see, to bring out a case of a very small, I won't say very small, but of a small city compared to the metropolitan cities that we look at, which is a city in Chhattisgarh, the capital of Chhattisgarh, which is Raipur. The main objective is to make sure that smaller developers and people with smaller parcels of land can also make a huge difference to the ecosystem by ensuring, that they remain dedicated to developing a sustainable infrastructure, a green and sustainable infrastructure. And the case in point here is the SIA Infra Logics project, which we have designed. We've done the detailing and the master planning for this entire and the conceptual functional detailing of this project, which is what I'm going to present to all of us. I would like to mention here that creating green designs or creating sustainable designs are not a matter of cost. They are just a matter of detailing. There is no expensive or there is no incremental cost just because you want a building which is green. There is no incremental expenses, or so to say, that actually, in fact, there is improved efficiency, there is improved productiveness and effectiveness in the infrastructure by making it more sustainable and more green. Just to quickly mention what we as an organization do. Coin Consulting, as an organization, provides master planning and functional detailing architectural services, intra-warehouse process and fit-out design, designing pre-occupation site audits, and performance evaluation metrics as part of our various services. We serve various industry segments, which is developers, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, e-commerce, automobile ancillaries, FMCG, and heavy engineering. These are some of our clients, as you may like to see, all across various sectors. The project that we are here to introduce is the SIA Infralogics LLC project, which is a standalone building in the city of Raipur. SIA was established in February 2017. The main objective of the company that was formed was to develop sustainable infrastructure in various parts of the country, which would then improve the overall efficiency of warehouse operations. This facility is in Naya Raipur area, where we all know that Raipur is amongst the cities that have been declared as a smart city, and basically is focused as a 21st century city with the socio-economic and cultural life of Chhattisgarh, basically to improve the overall status there in the city. The project overview, it's a project which lies in the south of Raipur, about 1.5 kilometers away from the city. It's typically an integrated warehouse facility for ambient and air-conditioned storage. Total development is about 147,000 square feet. Warehouse capacity is about 131,000 square feet, and the land uses warehousing. The overall purpose of this facility, if you see, was in terms of the green initiative that we've taken there, is to create a sustainable design which is in line with the green building concepts to fundamentally reduce the overall impact of the building on the environment, to look at the improvement of human health and the worker health in an operating environment, and also to ensure that natural environment is enhanced by efficient use of energy, protecting occupants' health, and improving the employee productivity. Obviously, reduction of waste and pollution and environment degradation has always been the key objective. But fundamentally, in a warehouse where we feel that only a few people work, that you will be surprised to know that there are warehouses where, in a 100,000 square feet facility, there are more than 300 to 400 people sometimes working. And therefore, human health becomes a very important aspect and is an important element as part of the green concept. So green buildings, predominantly focusing on efficiency of energy, water efficiency, a site which is sustainable, and material and resources. All these elements put together form a nice mix and conceptual, the conceptual reason for creating green buildings. Important aspect, this entire project, has certain standard green design features, which means that there is plantation, there are no smoking zones. The campus is designed to provide one electric vehicle, very important in today's days, one electric vehicle charging point, which can accommodate four-wheelers as well as two-wheelers. We'll see that people using fossil fuel is going to reduce, and therefore use of electric vehicles is going to come up, and therefore this is a futuristic building which provides for charging electric or battery operated vehicles. Surveillance systems to save and secure the facility, low flow water fixtures to save water, best practices for universal building designs, pedestrian ramps, handrails, parking lots, toilets at all the floors, and obviously provision for differently abled workers in facilities, and reduced exposure to VOC by using low VOC paints, adhesives, varnishes, and tiles. However, post-occupancy waste management is another very important focus as far as the design basis is concerned, so as to make sure that we are able to separate waste bins for biodegradable and non-degradable waste. In warehouses, we have huge amount of waste coming up, especially packaging wastes forms a very large component, and therefore specific emphasis has to be put in segregation of recyclable and non-recyclable waste, so that they are easily segregatable. Provision of central waste collection yards, use of CFC and HCFC free HVACs and refrigeration systems, especially for cold storages and the air-conditioned warehouse. You can imagine the amount of tonnage that is of refrigeration that is used in case you have to cool 100,000 square feet of warehousing facility, which is 14 to 15 meters tall. And the impact that if you are a little careless with your CFC and HCFC mixes, then the amount of impact that this can have on the greenhouse gas. Other important features here in this facility is that the use of local material, specifically when we talk about sand, stone, aggregates, bricks, in order to be able to reduce the pollution that is generated by trucks bringing material from long distances. Also in terms of concrete, the use of locally sourced concrete as per project requirements. Also, we need to make sure that, all these local resources like the cement, glass and wood products and tiles are also used as local as possible, so that you reduce the transportation leads that otherwise add up to a lot of carbon emission. The project has provided for a lot of amenities for fundamental needs of the clients and the people who are working in these warehouses. It's the client's endeavor to promote cleanliness and basic hygiene. The primary facilities provided within the campus are medical facilities, canteen, water drinking facilities, driver dormitory, washrooms. Also within a 5-kilometer range, we have restaurants, petrol pumps, hotels, ATMs. So conveniences are also important so that people don't have to drive long distances to go and fulfill their day-to-day needs. Rainwater harvesting systems and stormwater drainage systems are all integrated together so as to make sure that, that if you see here in the drawing here, you can see the blue lines are the rainwater harvesting systems and catchment pits that are there to make sure that, all the water that is possible draining off the roofs and the floor is drained into the stormwater drainage systems, which are then connected to the rainwater harvesting pits, where the water is then accumulated, and in case of any overflow at all, that's something that moves off the plot. Fire safety systems, which is the aim and the design here, is to see that there is safety of life and also cargo and the building. Fire and life safety is considered as part of the sustainable building as per the National Building Code and requirements. Total evacuation plans, NBC and NFPA requirements are completely complied with to make sure that goods and humans are taken care of. Vehicle parking provisions in the facility so that there is good parking, safe parking, and dedicated parking for different types of users, specifically when we talk about trucks. The traffic movement is all unidirectional so that there is no conflict of vehicles. Large trucks which have a huge amount of blind spots in the front, rear, and the sides. With unidirectional movement, it is the safest method of transport of traveling or moving of trucks, specifically trucks, where you have got bikes and cars on one side and trucks on the other side. The idea is to have a design which isolates all the human traffic of vehicles and small vehicles and bikes with the goods carriers, which are more heavier vehicles, and unidirectional flow of vehicles, avoiding any conflict in terms of U-turns and two-way movement. Efficient loading and unloading bays, which is also an extremely important element, which basically helps in optimizing material handling and reduction in lead time. It leads to huge amount of safety and efficient loading, unloading of the vehicles, of the material, and most importantly, worker safety. So you get speed at the same time you are safe when you are moving the material or loading the vehicles. Treatment of gray and black water is very, very essential. So sewage treatment plants, as I said, potentially 200 to 300 people can be working in a facility which is approximately 150,000 square feet. And the amount of wastewater that would get generated needs to be treated and recycled. So there is a provision for sewage treatment plant, and which treats water as such. Here are some of the energy management systems, like you have natural lighting. These are continuous strips of natural, skylights, which help in reducing the electricity consumption during the day. It optimizes the use of natural lighting. The insulation that you see out there, is a bubble insulation, wrap insulation, which helps reduce the internal building temperature and tremendously improves the human performance in a warehouse. We have seen efficiency of human the human workers in the warehouse grow up by over 30 to 35% just by ensuring that there is a proper control of temperature. And this is a non-energy use consuming method here in terms of good air circulation with using ventilations like roof monitor and louvers for ingress of air, and roof monitors for evacuating air or ventilating air outwards as such. So this is just the building view. You can see, it looks so beautiful, and a good place to work, a nice place to feel, when you go there. As such, this is an aerial view. This is a project which is under construction as of now. It's an aerial view. You can see the plan in terms of the greenery around the place that's been provided to not only to comply, but also to make sure that there is a good feel factor when you enter into the facility. And that's the building elevation. Thank you very much. The key, again, as I said here, is to see that we are able to ensure that even small manufacturing and small warehouse developers, are able to get sustainable infrastructure developed. And sustainable infrastructure is just about these few details. It's not about investing lakhs and crores of rupees extra. It's just ensuring that you are able to take care of human safety, material safety, and ensure that all the environmental elements, are within control and are within the green building concepts and guidelines. Thank you very much. You have to unmute yourself, Mr. Kulkarni. You have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Arif. It was really a fantastic presentation. And I'm sure all our guests today would have understood the need for even smaller projects going in for green. Mr. Arif has really effectively told us how he handled all the aspects like water, temperature, air circulation, natural light, fire, safety, use of power, transport, just traffic control to ensure that his project becomes really green and sustainable. Actually, and the most important takeaway from his presentation, I would say, is that what he says is that it is not necessary only for the large projects to go green, but if we can increase the number of smaller projects going green, then it will really make a really, you can say, green difference in our ecosystem. So I think this was a very interesting presentation, because this is what is people are really interested in, how even a smaller size project can really take care of all the necessary items that we need to ensure for our green environment. Thank you very much, Mr. Arif. Let us now go on to our next presentation. As we have seen all the aspects that we need to be addressed, we will also now discuss what materials we are going to use to address all these green, so to say, aspects of our factory, you can say, or industrial structure. And let us go over to Mr. Mahendra Pingre with his presentation on specifications and materials and new materials or innovative use of existing materials. Mr. Mahendra, please.
Yeah, is my screen visible? Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Balkulkarni, about giving us a summarized introduction about my presentation. Yeah, this presentation mostly talking about the roofing system and walling system, which is a part of the sustainable building. And if we design the building with the right kind of material, definitely building is going to last, and it is not going to have any impact. It will impact social and economics, which is the part of the sustainability. So what is sustainability? Actually, something is sustainable when we have to have the optimal balance between social, environmental, and economics. That was the life cycle of the product. And steel is one of the most important engineering and construction material for making the steel buildings. And because of its property, it's strong, durable, flexible, reusable, and mostly it is recyclable. That is what it is, more sustainable product in the value chain of the, in sustainability part of it. So what is the life cycle of the, steel we normally talk about? So as per the BlueScope steel sustainability initiatives and all these things, they talk about we have to get the right material, the virgin material extractions, material productions, and transportation. So this is the getting the right material. If we talk about steel is recyclable, and if you talk about the construction materials recyclability, you can get 85% of the recycled product. And since it is a recyclable, so you can have the millions of carbon emissions is going to reduced. So that is the part of it. So if after the next stage is the making, so we have to make the building design and construction mostly, or design, manufacturing, transport to the consumers. So normally talk about the PEB buildings or conventional type of buildings. So we have to make design and which can be sustainable for it. And then next phase is the use. We have to use it, we have to maintain it in the nice way so that you can get the more life of the product. You can have the building life can be a 50 years or 100 years, depends on how you maintain it. And then again, if you after the end of life scenario, including that, the reuse, recycling, downfields, and all these things. So it is 100% recyclable. It can be reused. So this is about the sustainability. Is a Tata Steel, BlueScope Steel, which are the big companies having the joint venture between Tata Steel and BlueScope Steel. And this is since 2005, this company exists in India and manufactured the coated steel part and the building products and the buildings, PEB buildings for the construction and all type of applications. So these two buildings are having the focus on safety, manufacturing excellence, quality, innovations, and research and development. So what now come to the topic of the the material selection for roofing and walling. I am giving some of the tips which can help the architect consultants or the specifiers or end users who are not going through the architect channel. So they are consultant channel. They give the building to the PEB contractors and they build the buildings. But they have to be aware of what right kind of material gives the durability so that they can have less maintenance or zero maintenance over a period of time. So we talk about there are different types of materials. I will not go into the old thatch roof and all sorts of things, but we talk about the coated steel part over the aluminum. Normally, aluminum sheet is also used for roofing applications along with the zinc aluminum alloy coated as zinc aluminum steel or color bond steel part of it. So part of it, why?
Mr. Kulkarni, I feel we have Mr. Mahendra Pingle has lost connection. Oh yes, he's back.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Pingle.
Mr. Pingle, you are reconnected. Can you please start sharing your screen? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Steel, aluminum steel is the steel is preferred over the aluminum because of its low thermal expansion contraction. If you go with the Pierce fixed type of things, the steel has a lower expansion. That's why there is no holes are getting bigger and bigger when there is a movement compared to the aluminum. And because of it is expensive things, having no strength, you can have this save more save steel on the purlins and secondary structures and all these things. So steel is preferred material over the aluminum, I would say, because of the the sustainability part of it. Here is talking about economics part of it. Steel is economical than the aluminum, so steel, coated steel part is preferred over it. Yeah. So what are the coated steel? So if you talk about bare product, normally the roof is made up of zinc steel and wall cladding.
We've lost him again, I suppose.
So,
Connectivity issue.
yeah, some connectivity issues, I think. Shall we go over to the next speaker and later on get back to Mr. Pingle?
Yeah, I think so. That would be better.
Okay, I think let's do that. Mr. Pingle seems to be having some connectivity issues. I think he will positively come back, and then we can continue with his presentation. In the meanwhile, let us continue with our episode 3, Green and Sustainable Designs, with another project details. Mr. Surendra Mathu will now share his presentation with us and share his experiences with one fantastic project they're working on right now.
Yeah, please let me know. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Kulkarni. Please let me know when my share screen is visible to you all. Okay.
Yeah, it is visible now.
It's visible, sir.
Just a minute.
Mr. Pingle is back. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. This is a great pleasure to discuss about our capabilities and the project which we have done, a prestigious project with Godrej Voice at the Dahej. Mr. Arif has touched upon green building initiatives very discreetly, and we are not away from that. So yes, we also believe those are the initiatives, those are the current requirement of the industry, that we have to be sustainable and use all initiatives towards a green building concept. So I will take some time to introduce IPS Methalia to all. So our safety logo, Mission Zero, is there, which is committed to incident and injury-free workplace. We care about our employees' safety as well as the project safety. So we inculcate in our detailed designing the all safety measures while we go forward for any project. This is the sectors which we are into: food and beverage, paint and resin, warehouse, cold storages, engineering sector, FMCG. So we'll be discussing about engineering sector project. This is the presence pan-India or industrial projects where Godrej Voice is one of the prestigious projects for us. And I want to touch upon some of the award-win project, which we have done, which is recent past with our different clients. This is gold-rated building for Last October Hazira. So we are proud to have that green certified building. This again for platinum rated building for Last October Coimbatore. This is platinum rated green building for L&T at Talegaon. It has got AESA award. It's a Pune based award which has been given to this facility. This is again a big complex at L&T Hazira, which has been given a British Safety Award with Sword of Honor. So one of the prestigious award to our designs and all. So again, sustainability areas what we take for different projects. Yes, it starts from the site selection and planning, water conservation. It has to be energy conservation, material conservation, and all innovation in design. I'm touching upon the various points which accredits for the certification from silver, gold to platinum. Now coming to the the subject of the today's presentation, Godrej Dahej site. I will take you to the master layout of SEZ 1 and 2. See, our project is at SEZ 2, which is that total area is divided into two SEZ, SEZ1 and SEZ2. So Godrej Dahej is in SEZ2. This is the aerial view of our location, Z90 and 91 you can see. While master planning, these are the major points kept in mind while doing the master planning. Contours, we have used the contours of the area very significantly. We have abide by the all safe statutory norms of the SEZ, requirement and process flow from the client side, unidirectional and man-material movement and process requirements. We have done the planning which talks about the utilities are optimized and the distance between the utilities and the user points are very minimal to save on energy. The facility is constructible because this is going to be phase wise and it is expandable without least disturbances to the operations which are going now. So that has been kept in mind while designing the facility. Logistics, yes, is a requirement which has been taken care. Safety norms and all sustainable measures and green building concepts has been taken care while designing this facility. So this is the one master plot plan which talks about both the phases of our Dahej project. This is one of the 3D view which talks about phase 1 and phase 2 of this industrial building. We are having a 6 bays in it, and right now only the 3 bays are constructed. So this is on the south side view which talks about the ancillary buildings adjoining also. We have got substation, we have got ETP, STP, we have got car parking and material storage area with all logistics in place. This is the layout of the plant. The beige color is talking about the phase 1 which has been constructed. About 30,000 square meter of built up. You can see the typical section putting the phase 1 and phase 2 together. It has got multiple cranes as a process requirement at different levels with the capacity from 10 ton to almost 200 metric tons. So let me take you specifically for phase 1. So this is the 3D view of the phase 1 which has been constructed. This is again the south side view of the plant. Coming to the green initiatives, all the stormwater drainages the network is planned in a very efficient way so that the future expansions are also catered, and the level and the distribution of the network is kept in mind from experimental point of view. There's a rainwater. We are harvesting the rainwater and from the rooftop, which is being used for flushing and gardening. So that is one of the initiatives which has been done for this project. ETP, we have got ETP, STP well defined to take care of that this ATP of that plant. Material movement, you can see the material movement which has been meticulously derived so that there's no crisscross of the inbound and outbound. So it is showing the NO efficient of that material movement. So you can see the outbound and inbound are very discreetly clear, not touching each other and getting out of this very finely. So this is a man movement again, no crisscrossing, very safe. So this is the car movement within the plot. In this project, though it's a vast project, we cannot, compress in very, less number of points. There has been very challenges which we have mitigated time to time. And some of the challenges which I want to showcase here is the soil bearing capacity of the land is low, and obviously we have gone for the pile foundations. And for floor embankment, we have used the engineered fill to cater to the required loadings, which is almost 30 ton to 20 ton per meter square. Inside facility, there's a heavy equipment foundations for the process requirements. We have got some testing areas, radioactive testing area enclosures, where the wall thickness required as per the design was up to the 0.900 mm. We have got AOT cranes, which I shown in the slides. They are to be designed as per the tandem operation. So those forces which will be acting, that has been catered and taken care while modeling. This is the engineered fill, one typical section where we have used the resource from the available area. Is a mixture of panna sand and the metal 4060 mm metal, which has been sourced from the regional area, a place called Jagadia. From this place within 100 or 150 kilometers away. So we have been using the natural resources which are available. This is the typical section for flexible payments where we have used panna sand, which is available within the campus, and existing resource has been used, and it has been designed the way so that we are not dependent on the material brought from outside to have an efficient use of the resource in the area. So this is one of the photograph of that RT enclosure where the wall thickness record was almost up to 900 mm. This is the RT enclosure rough, a typical design. We have done to ensure this air circulation within the shed. The CFD analysis was carried out to understand how the air velocity within the shed is happening, or are we getting the ventilation. So CFD analysis were carried out by one of our extended partner, and some of the this developments has been happened in that where some areas were to be added, some opening areas were to be added to ensure the churning of the air is maintained within the facility. So this is one of the sketch for the CFD analysis which we have carried out for the project. Yeah, there are many project silent features, and these are one of some of them which I will touch upon. This is state-of-art fabrication facility for Godrej Process Equipment Division. All sorts of safety aspects are adopted, and safe access to the roof and fall protection measures. We have got latchway, fall protection, and skyweb used, of course, from Tata. We have got horizontal and vertical cross movement of the job, which is possible on the floor. Floor loadings are a tremendous requirement as well process, which is 30 tons and 20 tons per square meter. And heavy equipment foundations having capacity to bend plates, I would say 100 mm and above. So that foundation design was one of the key factor, key challenge for us, which has been done. And this radioactive testing enclosure I touched upon in previous slides. The EOT cranes which are there from 10 ton to 250 ton capacities in the working in tandem operation, all those loading list has been inculcated in the design, and building was designed upon that. We used well ventilation and the natural lights by adding the skylight panels. A robust roofing system MR24 has been used for the roofing. So these were the silent features of the project. The key quantities which has got involved in this project, concrete is almost 2,000 cubic meters. For reinforcement, which is FE 500D, CRS reinforcement has been used, almost 5,500. Structural steel has been used to the great extent, 5,600 metric ton. Foundation boards again 10.9 grade, 150 tons. So a lot of steel has been used for this to make it possible. Now I will take you to some of the side photographs. So this is talk about the road which connects to the from the Hazira to this SEZ. So the pile testing which was done, a test pile was taken, and the results were inculcated in our design. So this is the actual photo when the piling was done. Yeah, Keller has done a good job on the foundation part. So this is one of the pedestal ready to be taken up. So here you can see the structure coming up with that our steel and as per design. So this is the steel which has been used. Here you can see that the seamless work So again, the internal photographs which takes it to that over this. So you can see that roofing system and the purlins being laid safely. This is another view. So in this picture, you can see one of the foundation which has been done for the equipment foundation within the floor, and it could have not been possible once we are out after doing the roofing. So all the foundation which are coming inside were planned meticulously. So this is another photograph. So this is the final one of the picture. It talks about the daylight, natural light has been encouraged, so that all the operations are going without using the electric lights, and daylights are used in that operation in the facility. So I can say that steel once produced, its life cycle is endless and makes it a permanent resource for society and must be recovered at the end of each product life cycle. So yes, these are the properties of a steel. One should be proud, having the steel as one alternative for the building solutions, which is part of today's discussion. So these are the finished photographs of that facility. This is on the south side, where from the south side this has been taken. So this is another photograph of our facility. You can see that how this landscape is maintained. It is not only a fabrication facility, but we have maintained to the maximum extent the landscape, and all the road and connected networks is very meticulously designed to cater to the requirements. So this is another slide of the finished area. So yeah, this is the end product, the CC reactor, one of the biggest reactor which has come safely tested and come from this facility. And this is now going to the bar. So I just touch upon on the final product. So thank you. That is over. Thanks for this presentation. Okay.
Mr. Pingley, can you share your screen, please?
Hello.
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 Yes, we can hear you. You can continue with your presentation, Pingley sir.
Thank you. Sorry for inconvenience. Yeah. So we talk about the cladding material. The bare material can be used for roofing application, or color coated can be used for roofing application. If you talk about the sustainability, I would suggest color coated steel has to be used on the roofing, where you can get the more cool comfort than the bare material. If you talk about the steel part of it, when you design specifying the any or doing the specification part of it, the tender specification part of it, the steel is important part, important but thick part of it. So the base metal is very, very important when the structural stability comes from that. If you talk about the corrosion protection, it is coming from the metallic coating, and the aesthetic and some part of the corrosion protection is coming from the paint coating. So if we designing the building, normally these structural engineers take base metal thickness for consideration or calculation the material. But if you talk about the total TCT, the total coated thickness is the base metal thickness plus metallic coating. We call it as a total coated thickness. If you include paint coating on top of it, it's called total painted thickness. So when you are designing the building, the base metal thickness is important, and the additional part, which is corrosion protection and aesthetic, comes from the coatings. Then this high strength steel is going to get the benefit. So when you are specifying it, what is the grade of the steel? So high tensile steel gives more load carrying capacity. It can withstand higher loads. It can have the low improved dent resistance. It is not easily dent, and it can have the mover spanning. So you can save some purlins structure for that by using the high tensile cladding for the roof and wall applications. So next part is the how much coating we need to specify or mention into the tenders. So if you talk about zinc aluminum alloy coated steel, the zinc alum is a minimum 150 GSM of coating is required, which is given 4 times more life than galvanized steel of 275. If you talk about 120 GSM galvanized steel, this product is going to give 8 to 10 times more life. So 150 GSM is a minimum. So if somebody is looking for higher protection, then you can go with the AZ200 type of coating. As 200 grams per meter square is possible, which is a maximum we manufacture. So when you talk about color coating, so color coated steel, the RMP, SMPs, the super durable polyester and PVDF, these are the different types of paint available. If you talk about the value for money, so durability and all these things, the super durable polyester is giving us excellent performance over the RMP or SMP. And PVDF, as you know, it is too expensive, and it has some disadvantage about the corrosion protection, lower corrosion protection, and it is a lower hardness, poor opacity. When you are doing the roll forming after color painting, the seat is getting some scratches on top of it. It is that is what because of the poor hardness it comes from. But the best suitable paint system is super durable polyester, which is giving us close color performance to the PVDF coated product. Then comes to the if pigments part of it, because this no one is going to go into detail about whether is a paint is RMP, SMP, but we should go further to that to what if you specify organic pigments, ceramic pigments, or any type of pigments. So then this paint suppliers or steel company has to supply that to meet your tender specifications. So in this case, organic pigments are very cheap, very low quality. It is not giving long-term performance. It has a color fading, poor color fading resistance. So a lot of problems if you face over the period of time. But if you go with inorganic pigment or ceramic pigment, you specify into the tender, you will get that, which gives the durability of it. So you are not leaving to the paint steel companies to supply. You are demanding for it, and that's why they are going to supply to meet your expectations as per the tender specs. So then come to the thickness of the pin. If we normally the cost cutting happens on the providing the less coating, say metallic coating or color coating. But if you want to get the right kind of coating thickness or durability, then you have to have minimum 20 nominal 20 micron super durable polyester with inorganic pigments, which over the 5 microns primer, and same as with the reverse with the 5 plus 5 microns reverse coat. And it has to be comply with the Australian standards or Indian standards, and that is what you are going to get right kind of product. So lower coating of paint thickness, which gives the adverse effect on the performance, normally the color, normally fading happens and delamination comes out of it. So what is the color? Normally people says, I want to have the, my logo color. Logo color is normally the bright colors, very clean colors. If you are looking for that logo colors of that particular company, then it has to be manufactured out of using organic pigments. And then it is color going to fade over a period of time. But if you want to go with the right kind of products, with sustainable product, durable product, aesthetically product for long time, you have to go as per the manufacturer's standard colors, which is formulated with the right kind of performance. You should refer as a RAL color, but as a reference, but you should not go for that. But because it is not, all the colors are not designed for exterior atmospheric conditions. You should go with the semi-gloss type of 20 to 25% gloss instead of 80% gloss on the roof to avoid glares. So earthy colors, which is very good than the bright colors, because earthy colors is normally made out of inorganic pigments and ceramic pigments. Inorganic pigments and ceramic pigments cannot be made, that color cannot be made in the bright finishes. So it is an easy understanding. If you are looking for bright color, it is not going to have inorganic and ceramic pigments, which are durable pigments. And finally, the nowadays pigments are with the infrared reflectivity. We normally talk about the cool roofing, where the pigments are going to give the performance of the cool comfort than the others. So this is what the thermatech technology we talk about. The thermatech technology, whatever the solar heat is coming, it is reflected back to the atmosphere, and it is very low heat is re-radiated inside the building because of the paint is having thermatech solar reflectance technology. That means it is the pigments which we use in the color bond steel. It is having infrared reflective pigments, which gives cool comfort. So if you talk about the sustainability of it, you can the energy consumption is around 15%, and the peak roof temperature is by 6 degree. That is the benefit you are going to get. And since the sheet is not going to heat it that much, the thermal expansion and contraction is going to be low. If the paint durability is going to high, and there won't be any cracks is going to develop in the paint system because lower thermal expansion contraction. If you talk about the SRI value matrix, the normally as per the IGBC norms, SRI value has to be a 78%, 78 unit, more than 78. So you have to select the SRI value of more than 78 is about door white sharp mist and pure whites. These are the colors which is having a more SRI value, which is required for the low slope building. If you are going for steep slope building, the SRI value is about 29, where all the colors are now meeting the IGBC or green requirements. Now, not only talk about the warranties, you should also demand for warranties, and you should check for how much the warranty they are talking about the color performance in 10 years or 15 years, and how much is the corrosion protection period they are going to talk. So you have to be very careful on what the steel supplier is giving to you. So Tata Blue Scope Steel giving a very low delta E value. Lower the delta is a good performance. So if you talk about light and medium dark color, these are the units we talk about, but competitors normally ordinary painted products give you the delta E of 25. So that is about, if you talk about the performance, depends on the corrosivity. If you talk about building is coming in the coastal region, or a building is coming in the industrial zone, or if it is building is coming in the rural zone. So if you talk about as per ISO standard, the corrosivity comes from C1 to C4 or C5. But color bond steel product range is fall the far or exceeding far the more than the competitors product available in the market. So this is giving the performance of the product which is the suitable for say medium type of the corrosion requirements. So if you talk about what are the profiles we need to talk about, there are different types of profiles. This is a screw down profiles, locking profiles, that's a clip lock type of profiles, then zipping profiles is only zipping it because, and there is a 360 degree seaming profiles. So these are the different types of profiles available in the market. You have to choose right one. Why, which one is the we have to choose? And there are some technical comparison. Normally the standing seam type of profiles is available in the very narrow one, and the concealed fix and pierce fix which is available in the wider one, and it is depends on the slopes and all these things. But concealed fix and standing seam profiles require skilled labors, require design detailing is required, fixing is very critical. For that we have to take care of the measurements, and the structure has to be aligned. If there is undulation in the structure, the standing seam or zipping or concealed fix clip lock profile type of profile is not going to fix properly. So we have to take care of the how much is the tolerance in the structure. So that's why if you talk about the performance and the cost, normally the concealed fix clip lock profile is superior than the standing seam profiles, I would say, because it is proven in Australia, and Blue Scope Steel is only recommending the clip lock profiles because it is economical and it is sustainable, and you can save the structure and the cost all because it is manufactured out of high strength steel where you are reducing the steel on top of it. So these profiles which you are selecting, it has to be tested. They should not, the steel roll formers, or the roll formers should not do the practical in your building. They should be tested at some recognized laboratory, and they should give a performance. So to avoid all the wind uplifts and pressure for that. So we are Tata Blue Scope steel profiles, what we are offering, it is all tested with the real values, with the proper laboratory. And we should not ignore, because sustainability comes if you talk about insulation, or you can talk about temperature reduction and all these things. If the flashings or the accessories part is not being taken properly, then there will be a problem on the sustainability on, or you can say it increase the cost of no electricity and all these things to maintain the building inside. So in a proper detailing or proper care should take a care of with the translucent sheets, where we can get the natural lights, your proper ventilation, wind ventilations. We should have that. There should not dust and rainwater should not come. Then there is fastener should be the right quality, or it should be a class 3, class 4 type of things. The infield strips, mostly no one use the infield strips, where it is used in the gap, wherever there is a roofs and the purlins gap is there. You should use that. And insulation, where we should go with the mineral type of insulations, which gives durability for it. So if you draft the specifications, so all the parameters should be reflected into your tender, so that there won't be any play to contractor to go with and give the deviations. If you draft the specification in such a way that all the parameters I explained, if it is there, then you will get the right kind of product to your buildings, and gives the it will give save a lot of maintenance cost. So what there are some of the facts I would like to share over a period of time. So you can say the zinc aluminum steel ware and some of the galvalume or zinc aluminum alloy coated steel been used one of the project. You can see that the surface darkening is coming, but zinc aluminum steel doesn't have the darkening effect. So it is anti-darkening property, which is unique in the zinc aluminum steel than the galvalume type of material available in the market. The color performance, because I explained about inorganic pigments, organic pigments, and ceramic pigments. Organic pigments you are using, its color fading is for no obvious. You can see within 6 to 8 years of time. So are we really making the sustainable building or architectural beautiful building for a long period? There is a question comes into this. So if you talk about installation, which is the profile roll forming, but M24 is factory punch, which gives uh, has to match line.
I think Mr. Pingle is still having those connectivity issues. But
yeah, I'll just two few slides just left. There is a problem today. I don't know.
Your screen is not visible, sir.
Yeah, I'll just share again that screen.
No problem. No problem. Sure. We have 3 minutes more, so
just the wrong selection of fasteners should also be taken care, because stainless steel fasteners doesn't work. Electroplated fasteners also doesn't work. And mostly on the roof external side you can see the fastener, but inside you can see the fastener is damaged. So
your screen is still not visible, sir.
Mr. Kulkarni, Meanwhile, can we
Yeah.
take up a couple of questions?
Yeah, that is what I feel. We shall
Yeah.
start with some question answers. And if
By
we
the
can
time-
reconnect and share the
Yes.
rest of the screens, we can like to go through those. But
Yes.
yes, Mr. Pingle has shared some really important and extremely vital information, which is really important for all of us consultants. And most importantly, he has given us the comparison of the various systems, especially the choice of materials, whether it's aluminum, whether it's steel, also the base metal thicknesses necessity in the specifications, the colors, the type of colors, etc., etc. And I think all this will really help us in drafting foolproof specifications and for our projects. So thank you, Mr. Pingle, and hope you can rejoin us quickly and share the rest of the presentation. Let us go on to the question answers first.
I would
The
request
first
all the
questions have
speakers to
come from
please. One moment, sir. I request all the speakers to please cameras and unmute yourself.
Yeah. It's okay. The first questions are from Mr. Abhinav Rao. You can see the first, second, third questions. I think we'll pass them over to Arf Siddiqui. What is the first priority for green initiatives of a project? And you can go on with what was your biggest green project, etc., etc. Can you take up this question, Mr. Arif?
Yeah. See, I think without a doubt, the biggest and the foremost priority for any green project is impact on environment. How do we ensure that the impact on environment is reduced? Regardless of energy conservation, material of construct, type of design, human safety, whatever we say, whatever department, whatever segment, whatever category we look at, I think the first thing and the topmost priority is to every time evaluate that if I make this design, if I provide so much of water, if I'm using this particular component or this particular element, will it be impacting environment adversely? Will it be impacted? So the biggest priority is impact on environment, and that is what I personally feel should be the topmost priority. To answer the question in short, the second thing is what is the biggest type of project that we have done? We have done huge logistics parks. We've designed the logistics parks in Chennai, which is JKS Chennai in Oragadam. We've done which is about 1 million square feet. We've done logistics parks of another 1 million square feet and Accent Global in Sonipat. So those are the type of large projects that we have done, which are predominantly warehouse. We are a warehouse operations and a supply chain engineering company. For us, it's just warehouse and distribution and fulfillment centers that we understand. Since we are process engineers, so we design on the basis of functional functional requirements. So that's our specialization.
So let us go on to one more question, I think, which is regarding your presentation itself. The question from Manish Khandelwal regarding passive fire, what is the step you have considered as per NBC Part 4 and fully insulated fire doors? If you can answer that also, then...
Yeah. So as far as I can't see the question, if I can be shared what the question is, but what I understand, as far as
Can
fire doors,
out?
Yeah, please, can you read it out?
Yes.
Please read it out.
Just a minute. I'm just. Regarding passive fire, what is the step you have considered as per NBC Part 4 and fully insulated fire door as well?
Yeah. So as far as, so first of all, this application is more prominent and more applicable in a scenario where the depth of the warehouse is more than 90 meters. Okay. Most of the warehouses are below 90 meters with single side docking. If the moment it exceeds 85-90 meters, you end up with double-sided docking, and therefore the code does not apply. So with single side, with double side, however, with double side docking, when it comes to the fire doors, we've used fire doors keeping 35 meters of length, maximum run distance in mind, and 2-hour fire rating fire doors are predominantly being used. In warehouses, the major issue is that most of these warehouses are in common open, the doors open into common areas. Rather than into a compounded facility which is independent and completely gated, as a result of which using any latch levers is something which doesn't happen. So therefore, fire doors are kept in are designed in a way that they have these key boxes internally, which you need to break the glass and then open the key boxes and then open the fire door. That's the approach that we normally use.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Arif. We have lots of questions about the materials regarding color bond, etc., which we'll take to Mr. Pingle. But before that, I see one question which is a little different. I would like to address it to Mr. Surinder. This question is from Parag Deshpande. He says, thank you for sharing information on industrial structures, especially warehouse type sheds. But industrial structures also covers process plants, boiler sheds, etc. Kindly suggest how to go for green building concept when it is a boiler shed, which is heat inside the building, or process plants where some chemicals are involved, etc., etc. Mr. Surinder, since you have in your project dealt with radioactive substances and large wall thicknesses, if you can take up this question.
Yeah, in fact, I will touch upon Mr. Deshpande's question. As a green initiative, we have to understand, how to make it energy efficient building or a facility. And as far as the process plants are concerned, we have to understand all requirements. That's number one, and we have to understand how the that heat emissions by the different equipments are addressed. So there's a way to handle it by scrubbing system, by extraction system and all. So as far as he has mentioned for the boiler plant in the sense that the boiler plant which we did for the L&T, they were manufacturing for the components for a boiler setup for any industry. So we have taken all measures from the ventilation point of view, from the heat generation point of view. We have see that the number of air changes are maintained by putting either a forced ventilation or a ductable system. Yeah, it is possible for all types of plants. Had it been a chemical plant, so yes, the scrubbing system, how we handle the emissions and that gases which are getting evolved. So that can be done. Yeah, that has been done for some of the projects like that. So I hope I could make his question clear.
Yes. Yeah, very, very nice. Thank you, Surinder sir. Now let us go on to questions regarding the materials, etc., etc. And I would request Mahendra Pingle sir to take up those questions. And
Sure,
before
sir.
that, if you can just complete those 2 slides or 3 slides that are remaining. I think most of the questions are again relating to stainless steel, then cladding material, color bond steel, which you have covered, but then you can again go back and answer those relevant parts of the questions. So all the questions regarding the materials, you can club them together and you maybe give
not a problem.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have almost covered all the slides, but there are a few slides I just take you through. So the insulation, weight insulation damages the cladding material, and the performance of the color bond steel over 12 years of exposure doesn't have any problem on the color performance. And some of the sustainable buildings is made in Australia. You can have wide range of colors, structures. So it's not limited to the box types. In India, mostly the buildings are designed the box types. So all the processing industry can be built with some beautiful architecturals. So this is the part actually the architects should go for it instead of going for the box type of structures. And the conventional building should be making that type of structures, the beautiful structures. Some of the buildings where the PEB and conventional building where the color bond steel and zinc aluminum steel been used because of the durability and aesthetics. Mostly the MNCs are preferring the product which because they know the performance of color bond steel all over the world, because color bond steel, the brand is very, very popular on the color performance. And some of the structures where the warehousing industries, the logistics, where the buildings are getting sustainable, where you can have the warehousing with the trussless type of roof or PB type of roof or all sort of things. So it's not limited to the warehousing, but it gives more on the infrastructure projects where the structures are, of course, it has to build with the conventional way, and the architecture comes out of that. So that is what the options mostly in the metros and airports you can see. So some of the projects where the aesthetic is important, where the color bond steel is the choice for the architects and consultant to use for it. So that's the end of my presentations. Now we can have some of the questions if they are related to material we can address. Thank you, sir. Sorry for inconvenience because of the connectivity issue here.
No problem.
Yeah.
I will just read out some questions for you regarding the materials.
Yeah.
First is from Mr. Virendra Singh. Is stainless steel related products or roofing considered under green building as it's a sustainable product due to a lower cycle cost?
Yeah, because you can see they are talking about the life cycle cost, but what type of stainless steel they are using. Different types of stainless steels are available, and why we should go for stainless steel. That is the point first, because coated steel, which is economical options for building and construction, and if the site is really in the coastal, no, not coastal, industrial zone.
Participants there.
Hello.
263.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So building is very, there the acid fumes are coming or there. So they can go for stainless steel. But the buildings which are near to the coast where the coated steel is performing well, so it's the problem is solving with the using the coated steel. But yeah, stainless steel, wherever there is requirement, they can go for stainless steel.
Another question again regarding the materials is please share your experience of using color bond steel as wall and roof cladding material. I think you covered that in your presentation, but if you want to add something, you can go on. Another question is regarding temperature and fire related issues. Can go with PIR foam insulating products with 1 hour fire rating panel as well.
Yeah, if you want to if you want to design the building with the fire performance, so there are options, because you can design with the 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours roofing system. Normally the roofs are not designed, the wall claddings is designed for that type of things. Roof cladding is normally tested for the spread of fire. If this fire should not be sprayed because it is a very thin material. And if you want the insulation, you can already adding it. So adding the insulation into that, you can increase the fire resistance. But normally the fire ratings normally with the partitions and wall claddings. Roof is not normally designed for the fire rating. Yeah.
Another I would feel simple question: bending curvature of roof steel. How is it done? From Praveen Joshi. Do we need to answer this? Yeah.
Yeah, the curving, I know there are different types of. You can have the smooth curving, tooth curving, and cream curving. There are 3 types of curvings possible using the machines, the curving machines. If you want to have the smooth curve without any crimpings on the surface, So you can use the softer grade steel, that is G300. If you want to have use 550 grade to be tooth curve or cream curve, it is possible, but you have to have the right tools for making that curvatures. And the color bond steel and zinc aluminum steel is taking care of that bendings, tighter bendings. Whenever we are doing the curvings and all these things, the painted surface is not getting damaged, because this steel is designed to take care of that sort of the impacts or bending movements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
There is one more question, which can we measure the life cycle cost of green building material? But before we go that, I have a personal question for Mr. Surinder. Mr. Surinder, can I ask you that question? We had a wonderful presentation from you, and we saw that you have used sort of refilling material and embankment type of consolidation for your plinth, which you needed to take up to nearly 30 tons and 20 tons per square meter. Generally, many other people would have preferred, carpet piling and putting a RCC beam slab structure there. But yes, as you say, it really makes the whole thing very sustainable, as it's local materials and things. Can you elaborate on that and maybe tell us what was the depth that you needed? And
thanks, Mr. Kulkarni. Really, this was a good design initiative which has been taken to counter this 30-ton per meter square of loading. We have made the K value factor by doing this ground engineering. Otherwise, yes, what you said, doing for piling and other art would have been costed a lot. So we have developed that compaction with the available resource of Patna sand and that metal, which was taken from the near inquiry again as a green recycled product from the available vicinity. And we developed that K value, improved the K value, and designed the raft to cater these foundation requirements and load capacities. So really that was a challenge for us. Otherwise, in normal conditions, people would have gone for the piles. So a considerable cost was saved on doing that sort of design innovation in that. And I will touch upon even for the concrete. I saw a question from Mr. Rao or somebody. Yes, concrete is also a green, because we have been using that recycled material as a binder in the concrete, which includes the fly ash and the granulated ground glass furnace slag. So yes, that has helped us. We have reduced the consumption of cement. So a green concrete is possible, which has been used.
Yes, and as we said, it was a very important structural decision also. And yes, it's very nice to know that in such big projects you are taking such initiatives and developing new sorts of designs instead of sticking to conventional designs. It's really. I think let us go on to the next question. Mr. Arif, would you like to take up that question regarding how do you measure the life cycle cost of green building material?
I think that question should be answered by Mr. Matu, truly speaking, because he's a structural consultant, and I'm more of a functional consultant. So I would say that, but I will still try to answer this question. As far as you look at the green building concepts, if you look at the concepts are in design, the concepts are in material, and the concepts are in the flow, how you design the flow of man and material and vehicle movement. Since these are hardwired in the building, like for example, the steel building is like, as it is just now stated, as it was stated, in Mr. Matu's last slide, that it is forever, is as long as it stays. So once it is designed, I think it stays forever. If there is a ventilation system, a sustainable ventilation system, it's there forever. Okay. If there is a height, there is a length, there is breadth, these are openings, they are there forever. So in my opinion, that the life cycle of green elements is as long as the building and the building stays, or the material life is. In my opinion, if it is a 25, 30, 40, 50, 35, 40 years life, so be it. That is the life of the material, and that is the life of the system. The next time you design something, you will design something better with more elements, green elements. So it is a continuous process. However, life cycle is, as far as life cycle is concerned, the life cycle of design is as long as the life of the building. That's the question that I would like to take. I had a question to Mr. Pingley.
You can ask it directly to Mr. Pingley.
Yeah, Mr. Pingley. Yeah, yes, I have a question, Mr. Pingley. Mr. Pingley, definitely we've used so much of Tata Blue Scope sheeting, both on roof, MR24 roofs, etc., etc. And of course, the leadership position is unquestionable. However, there is one challenge that most of us designers, architects, I'm sure structural consultants face. Most of the pictures that you showed in terms of very colorful structures are pictures of outside India. They are of Australia, Europe, America. Okay. But it is very unfortunate that we do not have such very colorful buildings in India. And I would attribute this not to the creativity of architects, but I would attribute it to something to do with the supply of material, because nice colors are not part of your standard colors offering. And if I want to use any nice bright colors, fine, I have to minimum order 22 to 23 tons of material, which is part of your MOQ. So it is like politely saying, sorry, we can't give you a good color. When I think I would like Tata Blue Scope to take the initiative of starting, to offer all the non-standard, increase your list of standard colors. In short, I think you should increase your list of standard colors, so that even if you have 10 tons a requirement, a 5-ton requirement to put on a front fascia, it can be done, and you will find more, apart from gray, green, and blue, you will find more PEB buildings, of nice colors. Mr. Matu, myself, Mr. Kulkarni.
Yeah, definitely will aspire for
All of us love to have nice, beautiful yellow, blue, green, pink, use our creativity, which we are unable to use, I hope, Mr. Matu, you agree with me.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, all the raw colors should be available to facilitate the building facade. So if Mr. Pingley can take up this point.
Make 20 standard colors.
No. Please remember the specifications. We want all the wrong colors.
Addressing to your query, no, I totally agree with you, sir. Since Tata Blue Scope still focus is more on the niche market, and we are supporting architect and consultant to go along with them, and as a partner we support them. If your building is say about 50 tons or 100 tons requirement as a whole, and if you're looking for 5 tons or 10 tons of something unique color, definitely we are supporting. It's not like if you are asking only for 5-10 tons as a for total project, then it's very difficult. But quantity, say 100 tons, if you are looking for something this unique color, definitely we'll supply that, and we are supplying to them. So it's not the, and we have also increased the color range, standard and non-standard, and we have about 25 to 30 colors which we have made a swatch, and we are distributing to our consultant and architects to refer that, so that you are not going to go select from that colors from the RAL card, because RAL colors, this total bunch of colors, are not suitable for it is suitable for interior as well as exterior. And since interior color, if you're using for exterior application, then that color is going to fade. Just like your fridge, old fridge, if you kept outside for 10 days, the color, you can't bring that old fridge inside. it is going to be a scrap. So some of the colors are suitable for interior, exterior, and most of the colors are suitable for interior because of UV protection, UV resistant. So yeah, definitely whenever there is a requirement of any consultant architect looking for Tata Blue Scope steel to support, yeah, we are ready, we are upfront, and we jointly do that project as just as a partner for you to supply as a complete buildings, as a complete solution, irrespective of the quantity. So yeah, your point is valid. The perception is that, but as a total system, we give that full support to you, sir. That is our commitment, and we are giving that commitment to all consultants.
Mr. Pingley, I have got one question.
Yes, sir.
In bare galvanum sheet, what is the SRI value maximum we can get? This must be obviously less than 80.
Yeah, SRI value for zinc aluminum steel is about 63. And normally it is not complying to the slow slope building, because you need to have 78 minimum. And this is a 63 because the thermal emittance of the bare material is low. If you paint it, the thermal emittance value increases and you can get the SRI value higher than the requirement.
Okay.
So that is the benefit, where emittance and reflectance for bare is very low, but emittance and reflectance in the color coated white colors, white body, black body, I would say, it's very high. So if you're looking, if somebody is going for green IGBC, green certification or LEED certifications, as per the norms, about 75% of the roof has to have the reflectivity more than 78.
Yeah, that's a
you
norm.
want to use some combination of that, definitely it is going to be there. But yeah, our zinc aluminum steel, which is having anti-darkening property, it is going to reduce the reflectance value. The reflectance value of initial color, initial fresh material is about 63, and after 3 years, it is hardly 10% reductions.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Do we have the time for any more questions, or let us take one more question. I think it is addressed to Surinder sir. How much replacement is achieved in triple blended M30 grade concrete, cement plus GGBS plus fly ash? It's about for sustainable purpose or economical purpose? I didn't get the question exactly, but can you? Yeah.
If I have understood it properly, using that GGBS and fly ash, yes, is for the sustainable perspective, and it gives a reduction in the cement content usage for the concrete.
I think he's asking what is the percentage replacement that was achieved on your site, maybe.
Right now, I don't have the numbers, so I can offline reply to that exact percentage. See, but we have been within the codes, the percentage which is limited in the code, that we have maintained. Yeah.
We will have to follow the codes.
Yes.
So that can be the answer to that. Yeah. So, Carol, I mean, do we go on or? Hello.
Sir, it's already timed up. So I suppose whatever questions are pending, we could take them offline. Okay. Thank you so much, firstly, all the speakers and for joining us, the moderator, as well as the attendees for making this event a successful one. Requesting all of you to please subscribe to our SCS TV channel for all steel construction update, and do write your feedback to edit@mxpm.in. Or in case of any more questions, you can write the same to edit@mxpm.in. We could send them across to the speakers. They would reply to the same. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, sir, and thank you all.
Thank you for some fantastic presentations.
And Mr. Kulkarni.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. We had a nice time. Thank you.
Yes, it was. So was.